The Leader of the Opposition.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. And my question is to the Prime Minister. Why is the Prime Minister not only neglecting older Australians of today in aged care, but neglecting older Australians of tomorrow by failing to deliver on the increase to their retirement savings in superannuation that he announced on the 7th of November 2018?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Mr Speaker, let me speak first of all, because I know the Leader of the Opposition has raised this in other places when it comes— I know he's raising a separate issue here, but just to put pensioners' minds at ease, Mr Speaker, when it comes to the impact of the— this is an issue of concern to older Australians, Mr Speaker, and I'm sure that the Opposition won't
Members
object
on my
to
left.
letting older Australians know that those who are on the pension and those who are dependent on these types of benefits, that because of the very extraordinary and irregular impact on the indexation of how these things work, that the government will be making announcements to ensure—
I just know, but before the Manager of Opposition Business, I won't give the Manager the call at this point. I'm just going to say to the Prime Minister, the question had two parts. One was about aged care and the other was about changes to superannuation. And so whilst he might want to speak about the concern with respect to pensions, he'd need to get a question that asked that to talk about pensioners. It was very specific about aged care and about superannuation. Prime Minister.
Speaker, I just want to assure, in concluding on that element, that we will—
Members on my left.
Mr Speaker, if those opposite aren't interested in this issue, then that is a matter for them.
No, the Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business will resume his seat. The member for Shortland has been warned he will leave under 94A. I've just got to make the point to the Prime Minister that the question was very specific. It referred to aged care and superannuation. The Prime Minister has
We
the
will
call.
address the matter that I was just referring to, and we look forward to making those announcements when the decisions have been made, Mr Speaker. I don't accept the assertions and smears that the Leader of the Opposition has asserted in relation to the government's position on aged care, and already during this question time I've outlined the responses that the government has made, in particular in relation to specific facilities when questioned on those matters by members opposite. I'll ask the Treasurer to add further the answer on the other matters raised in the members'
The
question.
Treasurer has the call.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I asked about the superannuation guarantee, an issue that the government is working through, Mr Speaker. But when it comes to the issue of the increase in the superannuation guarantee, this is what the Governor of the Reserve Bank, Dr Philip Lowe, said, Mr Speaker. It's relevant to the question.
If the member for Gorton could cease interjecting, the Treasurer resume his seat. The Leader of the Opposition on a point of order.
Yes, Mr Speaker. On relevance, asked about, very specifically, the Prime Minister's own commitment that he made on the 7th of November 2018 on superannuation, which he said, yeah, we've got no plans to change the legislation when it comes to the SGL that's been in place for some—
The Treasurer will just pause for a second. Presume you want me to rule. So, yeah, as I said, the question was about potential changes to superannuation. It might have had other sentences in it, but I think the Treasurer is in order to talk about superannuation and the government's
Thank you, Mr Speaker.
position on any potential
the Leader
changes.
of the Opposition would have been interested in the words of the Governor of the Reserve Bank. When asked about the increase in the superannuation of guarantee, he said the following: increases of this form do get offset by lower wage growth over time. It would certainly have a negative effect on wages growth. There will be less current income. If there's less income, there may be less spending, and if there's less spending, there may be fewer jobs. The Grattan Institute, Mr Speaker, said the following: increasing compulsory super contributions in the midst of a deep recession would slow the pace of recovery. Mr Speaker, ACOS have also made comments about it, as well as the COSBOA representing small businesses. The reality is—
The member for Sydney is now
The
warned.
reality is, Mr Speaker, and you will see this tomorrow with the national account numbers that the Australian economy has been hit hard by COVID-19. We are working through these issues and taking into account the comments and the insights provided by a number of people, including the Reserve Bank of Australia.